What's up everybody, blessed be, my name is Mannun and you are watching Witch in the Working, where we will be discussing all things witchy in and around, throughout and about, above, below, and beyond. Please visit me on my other platforms as well, including Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon, all linked down in the description below. The full script of this video and most of the others is available on my Patreon account for download if desired, to build your Witch in the Working Book of Shadows. Also, please visit my Shopify store listed in the description below to get your Witch in the Working shirts, mugs, stickers, and all that memorabilia stuff. So, as I've mentioned many times in previous videos, the world of witchcraft and the occult is huge and can oftentimes be quite daunting. For people just coming into this world of witchcraft, druidism, heathenism, high magic, low magic, or what have you, there's a lot of information to take in and process. Whether reading the thousands of books that flood the shelves or scavenging the internet for videos, blogs, and other sources of information to feed your craving for the occult, it can be a challenge on many levels. Most of the time though, most newbies don't have a problem with finding information, but do have an issue with understanding and possessing confidence in what they are doing. Anytime a new practitioner hits me up for advice, more times than not, it's about whether they are doing something right or wrong. And vice versa, more times than not, I answer with, yes, you're doing it right, because experiencing the subject is the most important thing. And if they are trying, then they're doing the right thing, even if they're doing something a little wrong, so to speak. Because this world of the occult is so mysterious and obscure at times, you'll hear the term many times moving forward to journey with a particular subject. So what does it mean to journey in the wide world of witchcraft? In this episode of Witch in the Working, we're going to talk all about this extremely, dare I say, absolutely necessary practice in the craft and how to do it yourself. So, without further ado, roll the intro. Welcome back everyone. So I've been practicing witchcraft for 32 years, in which 22 of it has been as a traditional Gardnerian. When I first started in an outer court coven 22 years ago, I was first introduced to the concept of journeying. Now this isn't to say I didn't journey before this, it's just to say that now I was about to be taught the practice of conscious journeying. As new witches and pagans, there's a lot to learn, and unfortunately more than half of this is through experience. What do I mean by this? I mean that a lot of the stuff that we learn in the occult is truly learned and taken in through doing the practices again and again. It's not just about saying words and repeating gestures and casting circles and calling quarters and doing spells and rituals. It goes a lot deeper than these actions. There comes a point in your practice that you'll begin to see, hear, and feel the deeper vibrations and energies that come along with all of the intentions I just mentioned. It's one thing to call the quarters, but it's another thing to call the quarters and know, feel, and consume their presence and energy as you dwell in the auric presence of these beings. It's one thing to perform a ritual for whatever reasoning you choose, but it's another to perform that ritual and embrace and exist in the euphoric and ancient energies that have been called forth to share this particular time and space with you and or your coven or fellow practitioners. It's one thing to build an altar to your specific choosing of deity to honor them, but it's an entire other thing to build an altar to a deity that you've walked with, spoken to, and more importantly, listened to and accepted their energy and given your own to develop a relationship that walks with you for an eternity of lifetimes to come. To journey with something is almost always on a spiritual level. Most of the time when you journey with a subject, it is something that is above and beyond the physical understanding. For instance, you would not necessarily journey with how to fix a carburetor. You would instead go purchase a manual or jump on some YouTube videos and learn how to do it and then do it. You wouldn't necessarily journey with how to cook a Valentine's Day dinner for your wife, husband, or life partner. Again, you would seek out some direction and you would learn how to do it. Fact is, it's not something that takes a lot of inner dwelling to experience its deeper meanings. You would, however, journey with, for instance, a god or goddess, an elemental, choosing a pagan name, an animal spirit, a familiar, a fairy companion, ancestors, angels or demons, or maybe dragons, undines, or jinn spirits, to name a few examples. If I had to make up a definition for journeying, I would say it is the practice of opening up your consciousness, body and soul, to a specific entity or situation and sharing energy, enlightenment, and understanding with such subjects or beings so that you can experience, share, and learn on a level that can only be achieved through self-growth, self-realization, and spiritual development that is not obtained through traditional teachings, so to speak. The journey is to take the bull by the horns and hop on for the ride of a lifetime. There's no way to experience riding a bull without jumping on and holding on for dear life. With journeying, it's the same principle. You open up, you receive, you share, and you experience. Again, you can simply learn how to cast a circle, or you can be the circle. You can learn how to perform a ritual, or you can be the ritual. I prefer the latter, as this is where the true world of magnificence lies, waiting to be plucked and savored. Done correctly, journeying will change your life and how you live it. I would go as far as saying that every successful journey is a stone step up in your life that you now stand upon for your everlasting climb to success and enlightenment with the gods. And you'll make some of the best friends you've ever embraced for lifetimes to come. I believe that in the world of the occult, journeying is one of, if not the most important element in learning and truly understanding the world we are striving so hard to embrace. With journeying, you are truly building on experience and developing wisdom in the long run. Without the experiences that would come from these journeys, you don't have much of a foundation to build on. Okay, so enough trying to explain how important it is to journey in our witchy practices. So how do you journey? What's this process that I'm speaking so intently about? Let's go over the methods that I learned and utilized to this very day to journey with a particular subject. So when you begin a journey, you're setting up parameters for a specific time frame to focus your intention and consciousness on a particular subject, to fully embrace and spiritually absorb that energy, and more importantly, to learn from this energy that you're attempting to share with. Usually this time frame is at least 30 days, though it can be longer depending on the subject and what you feel you need to achieve. To mark the beginning of the journey, you need to reach out and say hello. What do I mean by this? When you've chosen to journey with a particular subject, you need to literally design a small ritual, even if that ritual is just sitting quietly and speaking in your mind, to ask the subject to share with you or speak to the energy of concern that you're ready to walk with this existence starting this very day and moment. You'll also explain a given time frame, for instance 30 days, and you'll also share humbleness and peace with this being or existence so that it knows you are embracing and sharing energy in an effort to better understand and learn from each other. Always give a small offering as well, incense, food, a trinket. Once you feel you've achieved a satisfactory introduction, you move on to the next step in your journey. Do not question whether you have truly made contact or not. You did, I promise. Questioning yourself and your abilities is a huge no-no in journeying, as this will lead to inconsistency and half-assedness, which is not acceptable in this process. When you say hello, know that when you're done initiating this contact, it's done and the subject is at that very moment walking with you, period, end of story, until you say goodbye 30 days from now. So the next step is to start some research. Get books or scour the internet. Whatever you do to learn about something, do it pertaining to your subject at hand. Learn everything you can about the subject, to the point where things start to repeat themselves. By learning as much as you can about the subject, you're doing two things. One, you're filling your mind with intelligence on the subject so that you can achieve the utmost of experience and sharing of energy with the subject. And two, more importantly, you're honoring the subject with your attention, time, and energy, and effort directed to the subject that you're journeying with. The next thing you should do in your journey practice is build a small altar to the subject. It doesn't have to be large. It can be whatever size is going to be convenient for you in your living space. What is important though is that it be easily accessible and somewhere where you can see it on a daily basis. In the past, I've built altars for journeying usually in my bedroom. This ensured that I was reminded of the journey I'm on at the least every morning and again every evening before heading off to dreamland. The altar also is a twofold in purpose. One, it is reminding you of the journey and that you're present with it. And two, again, you are in fact honoring the subject and showing intent, time, and energy sharing with the subject. The altar, of course, should be decorated with things that pertain to the subject, maybe figurines of the subject or trinkets and things that the subject likes and enjoys, which you have which you will have learned about by doing the research we talked about for step 2 of the process I mentioned earlier, doing all the research. Maybe some incense and candles to show honor and appreciation. Use your imagination here, get creative. Most importantly, again, make this altar easily accessible and in eyesight on a daily basis for the full 30 days journey. Another great idea that coincides with the altar is to draw a picture of the subject as best you can. Put energy into this drawing, as this is a great way to focus your attention to the subject and again share honor and appreciation for the subject walking with you or sharing with you. This is an especially productive step when journeying with spirits, beings, or deities. Part of achieving a successful journey is basically keeping your consciousness focused on the subject as best as possible for the full 30 days. The subject should be a daily thought and reminder that you are journeying with this being, and I will explain on why shortly. So with this being said, another thing you can do to keep your consciousness and mind remembering that you are on this journey is to create an effigy, trinket, or picture and keep it in your car with you in plain sight. We spend quite a bit of time in our vehicles going to and from work and everywhere else, so it's a great place to set a reminder and again an honoring. And just to be clear, when I'm using the word honoring here, I'm not meaning honoring as in worshiping. I'm talking about honoring as in giving mutual respect to the energies you're sharing with, as they are giving to you as well. So you're returning the favor with generating energy and attention for them, which is vital for existence, as well as teaching them whether you realize it or not. Also, be prepared to receive messages while driving. The low hum of the car on the highway tends to generate open awareness and stimulates the receptive channels in our magical bodies, making them ready for and easily responsive for messages and spiritual ahas, so to speak. Another great reminder and honoring is jewelry. If you happen to obtain a specific ring, necklace, or bracelet you can wear, this works as well and is a constant close proximity magical trinket that can be used anytime you're journeying and wish to communicate or acknowledge the subject, and sometimes even a piece for confirmation of a specific possible teaching or answer, which answers from the subject. This will segue us into the next part of the journey on journeys. So now that you're set up and are fully engaged with you doing everything you can to open yourself up to the subject, what about receiving answers and teachings? This is the more difficult part, but not necessarily. You have to be ready and open to receive the sometimes subtle signs coming from the subject. This is also the reason for the altar and reminders, as this keeps it in our minds fresh daily to keep an eye out for odd circumstances that may be the subject communicating with you to show you something. Even if it's not a conscious signal, unconsciously you may pick up on something and bring it to fruition a little later on. You don't have to be looking around for signals. These answers and energies will come to you and make themselves known. You'll know when they appear, for instance a bird flying by so close it startles you, maybe something that catches your attention that is not an everyday normal happening or circumstance or occurrence, maybe an overwhelming feeling that tends to grasp the majority of your attention and draw it towards a particular subject or emotion. As long as you are reminding yourself on a daily basis that you're on this journey, you will know the signs when they come. If you lose your focus that you're on the journey and forget, you will not see the signs and not learn to discover a damn thing. It's very, very important to make every morning before your day starts a practice of reminding you that the day to come is a possible learning experience from this subject on this journey. This is why journeying is not as simple as people can make it out to be. It is exactly as it sounds, a journey, a quest, an adventure for experience and knowledge. Many times, not always, you're asking another being to help you on this journey, so don't take it lightly and don't take it irresponsibly, as you're letting down more than just yourself if you neglect the journey. One way to really get your day started and keep yourself fully involved with your journey at hand is to take 10 minutes a morning and meditate on your journey. Just sit in silence and think about your journey and what you hope to achieve from it. At the same time, this is a great time to try and communicate with your subject. During these 10 minutes, you are fully open for conscious listening. Clear your mind when you go into listening mode. Watch for symbols and pictures to come into your mind. Most likely, any communication from the subject in your mind's eye is going to be with pictures and visions for the most part. Although some hear things as well, but the pictures and images are a lot more common. Sometimes these images won't necessarily make sense and you'll have to decipher them. This is where you just take the image later on after your 10 minutes of meditation and write them down. Then say to yourself, what does the image mean explained to me. I can guarantee you one thing. During your journey, a physical spirit is most likely not going to step out from behind a tree one day and start teaching you the mysteries of the world. It doesn't work that way. It's unfortunate that I know many seekers who are actually waiting for this to happen on many levels. Unfortunately, until they come to grips and realize that this world of magic is not black and white like that, they will remain seekers. Which brings us to another very, very important step in journeying, probably the most important of all of the other steps, and this is to journal. Get yourself a small journal, spiral notebook, whatever you fancy, dedicated solely for this journey, and write down your experiences daily within it. Even if it means setting aside a time after dinner at the end of the day dedicated to journaling your experience, then do it. You must journal your experiences. Not only is this vital in keeping a record of what has happened, more importantly, it opens up the roadways and channels for messages to come that you haven't received as of yet. Why does it open up the channels for messages to come? I don't know. I just know through experience that it totally does. And come they will, especially a good 10 to 15 days into the journey. Trust me. And it doesn't have to be a huge writing session. It can be as simple as you want it to be, but it should reflect the key moments and what happened and how it made you feel. Again, journal, journal, journal. If you don't journal, then don't waste your time journeying. Let's put it that way. Another practice you can do before you go to bed at night is to ask that you receive messages in your dreams. This is an especially strict practice because it will require you to record what you dreamed upon awakening from your dream state, which most people just want to go back to sleep. Any dreaming messages should be recorded in a separate booklet from the journey book. This is because not all of your dreams are going to be communication from your journey, and you'll need to decide the next day upon awakening which dreams you thought would be tied with your journey or not. Then record that particular message, that dream, into your journey journal as well, as it was part of your journey. Just remember, the second your feet touch the ground upon awakening, the remembrance of your dreams starts to ground and drain away. So do any recording of your dreams while you're still in bed. Leave your dream journal on your nightstand for easy access. Finally, at the end of your journey, at the end of the 30 days, just as you did a small ritual to say hello and introduce yourself to the subject and the journey, you must say goodbye. This is of the utmost of importance. You must say goodbye. Why? Why not just continue on this journey and working with this subject for the rest of my days? Because you opened up a gateway of communication with an energy that has its own existence as well. Everything you were learning and going through, it was sharing a similar experience. You set the limits in the agreement upon saying hello. You have to honor that agreement. Besides this mutual respect, it's also better to take these journeys in small pieces and strides. Get in for the 30 days, receive what you're given, and get out. Contemplate and absorb what you got from the journey. Trust me, these journeys don't stop after you say goodbye anyways. You always get more afterwards for years to come. You see, when you started the journey, you in essence kick-started your experience with the particular subject. Like boot camp, so to speak, got the engine moving and gears winding. The intensity of birthing the journey and getting the seed planted for this particular experience to grow. When you say goodbye, you're simply saying goodbye to the extreme birthing, if you will, of the experience, but your relationship and sharing with the particular being, experience, or subject is for a lifetime and lifetimes to come. So you'll always still experience the little messages and teachings from your journey moving forward, just in a more subtle and natural way than the onslaught you received during the boot camp journey. And after a few years has gone by and you feel like you want another extreme experience with the subject again, then open up the journey once again for another 30 days for a whole new experience and trip down a whole different rabbit hole. So now that I've told you all about what a journey is and how to proceed with one, I'll give you an example of a journey. I decided to do an example of journeying with a spirit animal. I chose the crow, as this really has been a spirit animal that has recently volleyed for my attention. Remember, you can journey with gods, goddesses, spirit animals, angels, demons, fae, elements, or elementals, familiars, and just about anything that involves seeking knowledge via connecting and sharing with a source on a spiritual level, so to speak. I started off by designing a small ritual to say hello and call on the great spirits of this creature to assist me and help me learn the deeper secrets and energies of the crow, and teach me the mysteries that they want me to know and carry forward. I'm very specific on the time frame of working for 30 days. From here I began research and learned all about the correspondences and mysteries of the crow as a spirit animal. This can carry on for a few days or even the entire 30 days and even longer. There is no limit to this part of the journey. After I've called on these spirits to assist me on this journey, I began working on my altar to the spirits of the crow. I'm keeping this shrine in my bedroom so I can see it every morning and every night, as well as when I'm working on my computer. I've decided to draw a picture of the spirit of the crow as I imagined them and place it on my altar. I also placed this small effigy in my car to honor the crow spirits I'm working with, as well as a small reminder. Each day at the start of my day, I meditate for at least 10 minutes to gather focus on my journey with the spirit of crow. As the days go by, I'm sure to journal my experiences each day. Even if there's nothing particular on a given day that I picked up on, I still journal an entry saying so. For instance, one day in my journey, I saw a crow in the parking lot of the apartment, and it was perched on a post holding a silver shiny key in its beak. Was this message reminding me of the trickster archetype of the crow because it stole the key someone left under their mat, or was this message telling me that there's much more for me to unlock and open still? That's something I'll need to ponder and clear the mystery before me. Each night before I go to bed, I ask that any messages that have been unclear to show me greater resolution within my dreams. I make sure I have my dream journal ready to go to record my dreams as well for the next 30 days in hopes of receiving a message from the spirits. At the end of my journey, I'm sure to say goodbye and thank the spirits for working with me and helping me on my journey. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Witch Into Working. Have you ever performed a journey like this? What did you journey with? How did it turn out? Let us all know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to ring that little bell to be reminded of wonderful and exciting future episodes to come. I love you guys and gals. Blessed be.